Hi, I'm Pattu from FreeFinCal. Today, let's talk about how new mutual fund investors should track their portfolios. This is an interesting question asked by Arjun, and he wants to know how this can be done. So, first of all, we must understand that looking at the portfolio gains or losses on a daily basis, weekly basis, or even yearly basis, looking at the returns is not tracking, it's just watching. If you, when we say track, that means we actually have a proper plan, and then we are finding out how much the portfolio is sticking to that plan or deviating from it, and that information is tracking, not just looking at the returns and so on. So now there are several steps to follow before you start investing, tracking an investment portfolio. The first thing is you should understand why you are investing, when you need the money, and so on. I would recommend, if you are a new mutual fund investor, I have a free book called Reassemble Step by Step Money Management Basics. This was actually a series of posts I wrote, and I would suggest that you please download this. I will leave the link in the description. There are several. This is the cover page of the book and so on. There are several steps like this where you first identify your goals, dreams, nightmare, what is the foundation, how to buy term insurance, how to select a health insurance policy. Then I have made some comparisons, so how to buy super top up, etc., etc., credit cards, monthly expenses. Basically, it's a foundational course for beginners, and that's the first thing that you should do. Don't worry about, let your investments continue, leave that be. Then I would suggest that you learn. So this will teach you goal based investing as well. Then you suggest you tag your existing investments to two specific goals. And I also have another book called 100 Essential Questions for New Investors. This is a different kind of mutual fund FAQ, because it will teach you goal based investing, how to look at mutual funds in terms of goals and not look at it in terms of what is NAV, what is STP, and so on. Instead of looking at it like in that prosaic way, we can understand it in a better way, in a contextual FAQ. I would like to think that it is. Now, once you do that, then there are. I also have several articles on SIP investing risks and so on. Once you do that, then I would suggest stick to equity mutual funds only for long-term goals, about 10 years. Have an asset allocation of 50% equity, 50% fixed income. Have reasonable return expectations. Don't expect 17%, 18%, 20% from equity. In a bull market, everybody expects this. I think that's very wrong. For reasonable return expectations, find out the portfolio return, take into account tax, find out how much you need to invest for that portfolio return. I have covered all this in previous videos. You can, if you can use a good goal based calculator to do this. Then you are ready to track your portfolio. You actually have an idea of where your corpus should be and how much you should be investing. And I have always been saying this: please track your investments. Don't track your investments value first track how much you are investing every year. You must be in a position to increase how much you you must be in a position to increase your investments every year by about 10%. Now, how to track an investment portfolio? So let's finally get to it. First of all, you need a good hobby. You have to stop watching your portfolio frequently. You need a good hobby to stop you from all that. A simple spreadsheet is enough, because it has got absolute 100% flexibility. Nothing can beat this, in my opinion. Then you just need data from your CAMS Carvey consolidated account statement. You don't need all your app. You don't need anything else. Today people invest in apps and so on. You don't need all that. You just need your CAMS Carvey consolidated account statement. That's all. Now, I have two free resources for tracking. One is a Excel sheet. I still use this Excel sheet, but I do not maintain it. That is, if things change, I will not be able to change it. You have to change it as per your needs. Then there is a user made Google spreadsheet, that is a Google Docs, which will still work, but it's also not actively maintained. But if people know some basic Google Docs commands, they can very happily use it without any problem. Then you should know what is the current value of the equity component and fixed income component for each long-term goal. Then you should calculate your asset allocation from this information. Is your current asset allocation in line with your expected asset allocation? If so, then you don't need to do anything. Otherwise, you have to consider whether a rebalance is necessary. Typically, if there is a 5% deviation, I recommend a rebalance. I have also several resources on portfolio rebalancing. Still, people have questions. I don't know. I am out of information. I only have to post whatever I have already posted back. I've come to that stage now. Then you have to consider returns of each mutual fund. If you are investing in index funds, you don't need to worry about performance. If you are investing in active funds, then I made a video on how to review your mutual funds in 3 steps. You can have a look at that. You have to give your fund manager some slack, 2-3 years to perform, and if the person is not performing consistently, you have to understand why that is happening. Is that fund alone doing having a bad time, or is every fund in the category having a problem? That kind of contextual information you should secure. That is the reason why active funds are a big problem, because many people look at last 1 year, 2 year returns and invest, and they don't look at consistency, and they have very high return expectations. They will only be disappointed. Now, if you are holding too many funds, then every opportunity for rebalancing, or when there is a market fall, you should try and trim your portfolio as much as possible. And I also have resources to build your portfolio and so on. Let's not get to that. Now, what is the worth of your current portfolio? That is, if you redeem it today, what can you do with it? So, for example, you must have seen me talk about my portfolio being my retirement portfolio being 40x or 50x, that is x being the annual expenses and so on. When you just start investing, that will be like 1x or 0.5x. That is, you will be able to live with it only for 6 months or 1 year or something like that. So track that when you see it grow, it will give you confidence. You can see my portfolio audits. Every year I make one audit. It's due in December, but you can have a look at previous audits and so on. Please recognize, don't waste your time on CAGR, XIR, or absolute gains. These are of no use. You cannot eat returns. You need money. Ultimately, the purpose of investing is to take care of your future needs. So, what is the worth of your money is the only question you should be able to answer. So, I would suggest you focus the tracking efforts from that angle. Of course, you can do more sophisticated tracking steps like varying your asset allocation, graphically representing where your current portfolio is, where it should be, and so on. I'm developing a tool for this, but let's see how that works out. So that's about it. If you have any questions, please post them.